Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy bien y tú? Hello, I'm well and you?
Você fala português?
Yay, to the bang, hey, what's up?
अच्छा चलो भाई हम हिंदी में बात करेंगे। मेरे को बताओ आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम ChatGPT है। मैं एक कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता हूँ जो आपकी मदद के लिए बनाई गई है। My name is ChatGPT. I am an artificial intelligence created to assist you.
As you know, OpenAI just recently released their latest model, the GPT-4o, which is their fastest and most affordable flagship model. It hosts multimodal capabilities. What that means, it can process images, videos, and audios natively out of the box without having to add additional layers around the models as they were doing previously. That means the answers are going to be more reliable and the latency is going to be minimal. I made another video earlier on my channel where I showed you how you can create an assistant, add layers around it to allow voice capabilities. What that means, you can talk to the assistant and get the response back in audio. This video, I'm going to show you how you can do the same with the GPT-4o assistant. Now, I'm going to be leveraging the Whisper model to turn speech to text. And then we're going to use the TTS model to turn text to speech. And eventually we're going to get the streaming response. Now, GPT-4 Assistant is multimodal out of the box. We do not need the additional layers. So very soon we can just directly send the input to the GPT-4 Omni model and get the voice output back. We plan to launch support for GPT-4 Omni's new audio and video capabilities to a small group of trusted partners in the API in the coming weeks. Now, I kind of feel sad that they do not consider me a trusted partner. So OpenAI, if you're watching this, I'd love to have access and try it out. Until we have access, we're going to try the method that we were using before. The GPT-4 model is surprisingly well with language translation because of its multilingual capabilities. So we're going to test it out with different languages. We're going to create an assistant that will help us learn a new language. So when I saw this video, I was very impressed.
I speak Italian, so we can just do English Italian.
Let's try to do English Italian. Sure, let's do it. I would like you to function as a translator. I have a friend here who only speaks Italian, and I only speak English. And every time you hear English, I want you to translate it to Italian. And if you hear Italian, I want you to translate it back to English. Is that good?
Perfetto.
I was watching the video on the live stream just like you guys. I was very interested in the language capabilities, how it was translating back and forth, and the translations were pretty accurate. So I want to try this out with a couple languages I know and see if it can help me in my language learning process. Now, before I jump into the code, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Also, make sure to share it with your friends who are also looking to learn new languages, including Python, prompt engineering, as well as AI development. Okay, these languages are becoming more important than ever before as we are building AI applications using these innovative technologies. So get a head start, join my school community where we host Python Accelerator and agent building workshops. Link will be in the description. If you are a business and you want consultation for your AI development project, make sure you book a 45-minute discovery call with me and my team. We'll scope out a game plan for you. To use a couple of packages here. Pi Audio is going to be used for capturing audio from our microphone. The Wave is going to be used to save recorded audio to a file. And then you have the OpenAI package. The NumPy is used for numerical operations. It's going to process the audio data. And PyDub is going to be used for handling audio file playback. And these last two functions are basically to stream the responses. These are provided by OpenAI. So we're going to dive into the functions in a little bit. Now, here's some configurations. You can change the configuration of the audio as you wish. Number of frames per buffer. Then you have the format of the audio and a few others. There's also a silence threshold. This makes sure that whenever there's a silence, it's not picking up as an audio. So now we authenticate our client object with our API keys. And this is where we're going to create our assistant. We'll just call it language coach. And let's have fun with this. Let's start with that example that we saw in the video. When I ask you something in Spanish, respond in English. I ask you something in English, respond in Spanish. Okay. It's going to create the assistant, then it's going to create the assistant ID. We're also going to print out the assistant ID. So if you want to use this assistant later on, you can just plug and play. So here we're going to initialize the Pi audio and we're going to open up the stream to capture the audio. Then we're going to print recording to give us a prompt to start the recording. This is the event handler class. This is provided by OpenAI to handle the streaming capabilities. So text will also be streamed as the assistant is responding. I personally love to see text when I'm learning languages. And these are the two main functions here, the transcribe audio and the text to audio. So if you go to documentation and you click on speech to text, you notice you have the whisper model. We're going to use the whisper model to convert our speech to text. And then we're going to use the TTS model to convert text to speech.
The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. This simple fact has been observed by humans for thousands of years.
In the heart of the city, there is a large park where people go to relax and
You can pick any voices here. So we're going to go with the voice Eloy, and you can pick any voice you want. OpenAI also lists supporting languages. However, I think this list is outdated. I tried it with Bengali and it worked well. So as you know, when you have the assistant, so we create the thread and now we're going to send the message to the assistant like this. And then we're going to stream the response using the run assistant function. So whenever we say something on the microphone, that's going to be captured as a temporary audio, and it's going to be sent to the OpenAI servers to be transcribed and sent to the assistant to get a response back. And then we're just going to create a response MP3 file using the TTS model. To run the application, we just need to cd into the directory, and then we're going to type python main.py. Main is the name of the program, so we're going to go ahead and run it. Hey, how are you doing today?
Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú cómo estás hoy?
Quiero practicar español. ¿Puede ayudarme?
Of course, I'd be happy to help you practice Spanish. What specific aspects do you want to focus on?
Can you tell me how to introduce myself in Spanish?
Claro, aquí tienes una guía para presentarte en español. Nombre. Hola, me llamo tu nombre. Mi nombre es tu nombre. Edad, opcional. Tengo número año.
As you can see, it did really well. As a language coach, when I spoke Spanish, it responded back in English. And having worked with the previous models before, the time to respond is so much faster, and I can't imagine how fast it's going to be when OpenAI releases the direct multimodal API connection with GPT-4o. We're going to create another assistant. Now, this assistant is going to be a language coach. We're going to try to speak different languages and see if it's able to answer in those respective languages. Pronunciations are going to be determined by the TTS model, but when GPT-4 releases the multimodal capabilities with the API connection, pretty sure they'll have better pronunciation voices for the respective languages. I'm going to give some instructions. When I ask you something in a specific language, answer me in that language, and also provide me the English translation. Okay, I'm creating the assistant. Once the assistant is created, it's going to assign the assistant ID into the assistant ID variable. And this is going to be used throughout the process to basically append messages on top of each other in the threads. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. Let's go ahead and run the program again. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy bien y tú? Hello, I'm well and you?
Você fala português?
Yay, tudo bem? Hey, what's up?
अच्छा चलो हम हिंदी में बात करेंगे.
ठीक है. Okay, let's go.
So as you can see, it spoke multiple languages. It spoke Spanish, it spoke Portuguese, it spoke Hindi. The letters are not clear here because I don't have the fonts enabled for Hindi or other languages like Bengali, which has their own characters. As you can see, this could be very useful if you're building a language learning app on top of this. You have the voice capabilities of the GPT-4o, translation capabilities. Now, when they introduce video capabilities, it's going to open up a lot more avenues because now you can introduce a language coach, which can understand if you're doing well or if you're frustrated. It can make it progressively harder or tone it down a little bit. Not only that, it would be also very useful for coaching and tutoring. When someone is learning a new skill, this would be very useful. Again, I'm going to do more testing with the API and as well as play around with the streaming capabilities. I'm going to release another video where I do the same thing but with the Ollama model. Then you can see the implementation using the open source models as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get updated every time I drop a new video. And if you want a complete breakdown from OpenAI's latest developments, watch this video right here. If you want to see how you can use the OpenAI Assistant API with GPT-4o using an image input, watch this video here. Again, this is Imtiaz, your talk partner to build, deploy, and sell AI agents. GPT pioneers, let's go.